Hi everyone, my name is Karen, this is my channel RatherBeReading, and today I'm bringing to you my March TBR. So February was a bit of an up and down reading month. I went through a couple of periods where I was extremely busy both at work and in my personal life. And so I just wasn't finding the time to get anywhere near as much reading done as what I wanted to get done. So I'm really hoping, even though I did manage to get a lot read that was mainly down to audiobooks. So I am hoping in March to really kick things up a notch and to really get back on track with my more reading my physical books and ebooks and those types of things. So this is a large-ish TBR. March is a longer month. So I'm hopeful. So let's jump in and talk about all of the books that I'm hoping to read in March. So starting off with the library books that I'm hoping to get to in March. So the only library book that I have due back in March is Rub Down by Lee Redhead. So this was actually on my February TBR, but it's the library book that I didn't get to, which is fine because it wasn't due until this month. So this is the sequel to Peep Show, it's a series that follows a ex-stripper turned private detective. I didn't love the first one. I thought the writing was pretty, it wasn't great. It is set in Australia. It's an Australian writer. I'm going to give this second one a go and then decide from here whether I want to continue, but there was something enjoyable about the reads, even though it had a lot of problems. The last one, I have no idea what this one is about, but it just follows that same character. So I'm hoping, well, I need to get to this one because this one needs to go back. The other library books that I have here aren't actually even due back this month, but I'm just hoping to read these ones to keep. I'm just really happy that I'm back at a place with my library books where I'm not constantly being bombarded by due dates. So I want to keep reading as many library books in a month as I can fit in so that I keep on top of those library due dates so it doesn't happen again. So the next one that I'm hoping to get to is just Little Miss Stony Brook and Dawn by Anne M. Martin, book 15 in the Babysitter's Club. This is the next one that I have to read, so I'm hoping to get to that one. I'm also hoping to get to The Giver by Lois Lowry. This is a classic. I'm sure most people have read this. I've never read this. I actually didn't think that, I thought maybe it was only a book that you read in school, in the US and the UK maybe. But my friend Emma, after she saw my video when I hauled this, mentioned that she read it in school, and I never read it in school, so I don't know how I missed reading this, and I actually have no idea what this is about. I know there's a movie. I know that this is a classic. It's the first in a series, I think, of what ended up being 4 books. It's won a lot of awards. It's a classic, but I literally have no idea what this is about, but I'm planning to read it this month and hopefully I end up really enjoying it. And then my last one that I'm hoping to get to is Murder, does that say In the Muse or On the Muse? It's really Murder in the Muse by Agatha Christie. This is the next book in the Hercule Poirot series that I need to pick up. I actually think this is a collection of short stories though. I don't think this is a straight novel. Yeah, it's Murder in the Muse and Other Stories. So, oh yeah, there's 4 in here. So I think I've only ever read one other collection in the Hercule Poirot series that was short stories, and it wasn't my favorite, but hopefully this one will be more enjoyable than that one, because I really do enjoy Agatha Christie and all of her mysteries and her writing. So this is the last of the library books that I'm hoping to get to in March. Now moving on to the books from my physical TBR that I'm hoping to get to. This is where things start to get a little bit more ambitious. So the first book that I'm hoping to get to is Queen of Air and Darkness by Cassandra Clare. I'm currently reading this. I originally had hoped to get the entire trilogy done in February. Didn't make it to this one. Like I said, life just got so busy. I've only just started this. I've read a tiny little chunk of it, and this is huge. It's almost 900 pages, but I'm really excited to finish this and get this entire trilogy done because I'm excited to see how it all ends. So that is the first thing that I'm reading in March. Next, I want to reread Vicious by V.E. Schwab and then move on to the sequel, Vengeful. So for those of you who don't know, Vicious is I guess it would be described as a sci-fi, which is interesting because I don't read a lot of sci-fi, but I loved this. I believe I gave this 5 stars when I originally read it. It was one of my favorites in the year that I read it. And this follows 2 characters who are in college together, and they discover that they can become extraordinaries, which basically means they've got kind of a superpower. And so we then skip into the future when these 2 characters are now mortal enemies, and it just basically, and they've got superpowers now and they're mortal enemies, and that is the kind of the story that we're following. I really, really loved this book when I read it, like I said, and I haven't read it since then, so I'm excited to reread it. And then I'm kind of nervous about the sequel, if I'm being honest. So this came out a long time ago. The sequel has just been released like a long time after. It is significantly longer. This book is, oh my god, yeah, this is almost 600 pages. And I've heard very, very mixed reviews of this, so I'm a little bit nervous about it, shall we say. I'm nervous but excited. So I'm happy to even just reread this. Even if I don't love this, I'm excited to just reread this one, so I'm sure I'll have a good time with these. The next one from my physical TBR is I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. So this is one that I'm planning to pick up. Is not actually like due on my TBR, and I've just realized that there's a book that I'm forgetting to put on this that I'm going to have to mention, and I'm not getting up to get it. I'll mention that in a minute. I'll Give You the Sun by Jandy Nelson. This is a book that I need to read for one of my 2019 goals for my like reading older books that I've added to Goodreads to read list or my physical to read list, and this is one of those that's been on there for a couple of years and I just still haven't got to. So I'm finally picking it up this year, and I'm really excited to get to this one because I've read Jandy Nelson's other novel, The Sky is Everywhere, a couple of years ago, and it was one of my favorite books of that year. I think it was in like my top 2 or 3 of that year. I loved that book. This one is about 2 twins who I think have kind of an estranged relationship. It's YA, they've got kind of a strained relationship. And I think we follow it in 2 different time periods. We follow one twin's perspective, like in a certain time period, and then one twin's perspective like 5 years apart. And like, I think through that medium, we find out what happened, what's caused this strain in their relationship. Like I said, I really love Jandy Nelson's other books, so I'm hoping to really, really like this. Then the other one that I put on my TBR that I'm actually thinking I don't know if I'll get to this, but I'll mention it anyway, is this Sweep bind-up by Kate Tiernan. So this has got the first 3 books in the Sweep series, which is Book of Shadows, The Coven, and Blood Witch. I don't know anything about this except that it's YA and deals with witches, which is frankly enough for me. I want to start reading this bind-up. I'm going to be reading the books individually, so I don't know. I don't believe that I'll get to all 3 of these, but we could hope. But I also just remembered that I have a buddy read this month with one of my lovely subscribers, and we are going to be buddy reading oh my god, why is the title is so long, The 7 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. I purchased that book recently, and Michelle commented, and so we're planning to buddy read that, and I'm so excited because it was an excuse to bump that book up my TBR and get to it way sooner than I would have. So if you guys don't know, it's a thriller mystery novel where this guy is at a party and a guest is killed at the party, and I think it's historical as well, and the guest is killed, and then it kind of has a Groundhog Day type thing where he keeps going back and reliving the day to discover who the killer is. But on top of that, every time the day restarts, he's actually moves into the body of a different guest at the party. I've heard very mixed things about this book, but the premise is just, I can't be nervous about it because I just feel like I'm going to love it. I'll be disappointed if I don't, but I think it's just going to be a really interesting reading experience, and I think it'll be a really fun book to buddy read as well. So I'm definitely getting to that one this month as well. Now, moving on to the ebooks that I'm hoping to get to this month. So first off, we have the ebook that I didn't get to last month, which is a NetGalley read, and that is The Widow Next Door by L.A. Detweiler. This is a thriller, basically follows a couple who move into a new home, and there is an old woman who lives next door. And then I think the old woman is just getting a little bit too familiar and getting a little bit too much up in their business, and it's about that kind of strained relationship. I think the old woman's a little bit sinister, and I'm looking forward to reading it because I haven't read a story with like an old person evil, like an evil old woman. I can't tell you the last time. I'm excited about it, so that'll be fun. And then the other NetGalley book that I'm hoping to get to is The Hunting Party by Lucy Foley. So this is a book that I marked as to read. It was in my marked as to read video last month. And I haven't even mentioned this book in a haul yet. It'll be in my haul this month. I came across it on NetGalley and I requested it and was approved. And I normally wouldn't be reading it this quickly, except that it's one of those annoying books on NetGalley where I can't send it to my Kindle. I can only download like a PDF, which I've managed to get onto my phone so that I can read it on my phone. But because of that, when I send them to my Kindle, even when the book gets archived on NetGalley, they're on my Kindle already, I can still read them off my Kindle. When you can only get them like on that like PDF-y type of download, that means that it will expire, like that download will expire, and after the 31st of March, so I have to read it this month, it will be gone and I won't be able to read and review it anymore. Now, I was excited about this book because it's a adult thriller that follows a group of friends who all travel together to an isolated, idyllic, like Scottish estate to spend New Year's Eve, and then I think by like New Year's Day or the 2nd or something like that, one of them is dead because I think they all get snowed in at the estate. It gives me vibes of what's that book by Shari LaPena that I read and really loved? An Unwanted Guest by Shari LaPena that I really, really loved last year. It gives me vibes of that, so I'm hoping it's going to be that kind of same fun type of mystery. My favorite things in these type of mystery and like thriller type novels is like to have that really like oppressive like atmosphere, and I think this book is going to have that in spades. So I'm really excited about getting to that one as well. And then the final ebook that I'm hoping to get to is one of my backlist Kindle books, and that is, what is it called? Wicked by Clover Donovan. So Clover Donovan, I believe, is a pen name for Richard Denny, who is a booktuber. And so this is actually the first in a series, and it's my only kind of like hesitation with reading this book is because I don't think Richard ended up writing any further books in the series, but that's fine. I'll read this one and hopefully I enjoy it, and I'll go into it knowing that there's no more, and then I think I'll be okay with it. I think this is middle grade, like more of a middle grade age series. It might be more YA, but if it's YA, I think it might be like younger YA to like middle grade type of read about, I think it's two twins. I believe at least one of them is gay, maybe both, but at least one of them is, because, and that is will be own voices because Richard is a gay man. And it's witchy, and I think it's like about them finding out that they've got like dark magic in their like family line and dealing with that whole type of thing. You guys know I love me some witch stories, so I think this one's going to be a lot of fun. I've had this one on my Kindle for ages, so I'm excited to finally get to it. And finally, moving on to the audiobooks that I'm hoping to get to in the month of March. As always, I'm not exactly sure what audiobooks I'll be getting to because I'm never sure which ones are going to come off hold in the month. One I definitely know that I'll be getting to is Before We Were Strangers by Brendan Novak. Again, this one I'm really excited about because it's a book that I had recently marked as to read, which my library got an audio copy of. And it's already come off hold. It's ready and on my phone, ready to listen to this week when I go back to work. And it's a mystery-ish type novel about a girl whose parents had a not great relationship. They used to argue and have fights all the time. One night, she's in her bed and she can hear her parents arguing, and then there's an ominous thump. And then the next morning when she wakes up, her mother is gone, and her father tells her that her mother's left them. And I think it's then her as an adult going back to the town where she lived with her father, or like going back to and trying to, I think maybe her father's died at this point, I'm not sure, but her trying to basically figure out what happened. Is her mother really leave them? Did something happen to her mum that night? I think this is all about that. Sounds very like mysterious and intriguing. I love a story of someone going back to like where they used to live, like to their hometown, to uncover a mystery from their past. It's one of my favorite mystery thriller tropes, so I'm really excited about getting to that one. Another audiobook that I'm got on hold that I think is going to come in this month, because I think I'm pretty high up the like queue for it, is We Should All Be Feminists by Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie. This one I'm excited about. I've never read any Chimamanda Ngozi Adichie, and to be honest with you, I don't know what this book is about. It's obviously very feminist in nature, which I'm very into. This book, I don't think I've ever heard anyone say anything bad about it. This book just gets raved about, and so I'm very interested to like read it and just find out what it's all about. I think it might be quite short as well, so yeah, I'm just excited to get to that book finally, because I've just heard so much about it and finally, you know, develop my own thoughts on the book. And the final audiobook that I'm hoping to get to in the month of March is Macy McMillan and the Rainbow Goddess by Shari Green. This one is a middle grade novel. I have been getting into a bit more middle grade recently. I recently read Wonder by R.J. Palacio and loved it. I recently listened to The One and Only Ivan by Catherine Applegate and really enjoyed that as well. So I'm hoping this is going to be another middle grade book that I really love. So it follows a girl who is, I think she's in 6th grade, and her mother is about to get remarried, and so her life is about to go through this really big change. And I think it's basically about the friendship that she forms with the elderly lady who lives next door to them, and it just sounds like it's going to be really cute and really heartwarming, which is the thing that I've really loved about the middle grade that I've been reading, is that it's all just been so heartwarming, and I just really love it. So I'm hoping that this one's going to be another really fun, heartwarming read. So those are all of the books that I'm hoping to get to in the month of March. Like I mentioned, this is kind of ambitious, particularly when it comes to all of the books from my like physical TBR that I'm hoping to get to, but hopefully I'm just going to have a really successful reading month because I am really excited about a lot of these books that I'm hoping to pick up this month. So I'm hoping I just get so excited and I get so invested in all of the books that I just fly through all of them and I just get so much read in March. That is the plan. I would love to chat with you guys in the comments down below if you've read any of these books, if you've got any thoughts, or I would love to chat with you guys about what your reading plans are in March. I would love to know. Please like this video if you liked it. Please subscribe if you want to see more from my channel. That is all I have for this video today. Bye guys.